What is up, Sales Dev Squad? Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Sales Dev Squad podcast. We got a super special guest for you today, one of my good friends, Ryan Zadrazil, who's currently raising awareness for mental health and well-being. He's currently an account executive at BetterMynd. Also had the pleasure of playing the game Snake Oil with him, in addition with some other SDRs at the time. Feel free to check out that video on the YouTube channel as well, but super excited to have Ryan on today. He's really passionate about mental health, raising awareness for mental health, and being a figure in that space. And not only is he a brand in that space, but he's helping sort of facilitate that on the university front end over at BetterMynd. But I won't spill all the beans here. I'll leave it up to him. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween. We're not dressed up in costumes, but it's okay. It's going to be fun. But Ryan, for those who may not be familiar with like who you are and what you do and sort of how you got into sales, do you mind just giving us a quick rundown?
Yeah, definitely. So started out retail sales, went to outside, then didn't like the manual labor part, so went to inside, and that's what I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. Bounced around from a few different companies, and I've landed at BetterMynd, and it's been really great so far. I've really enjoyed the account executive role and working full cycle, so it's kind of where I'm at today.
100%, man. I guess like I really want to just kind of hop into it here, man. Like I've heard a lot of different perspectives with this idea around mental health, and it really blows my mind because it seems that there are certain people out there who maybe don't believe that mental health is actually a thing. And I've said this myself, like I don't understand. Like we're humans, we're so non-logical, we're so emotional, and I feel like every human to a small extent, you know, has challenges because we're human. We're not these perfect human being and robots. So like, do you mind just elaborating like what mental health means to you and what you're trying to accomplish, not only through your role at BetterMynd, but like your mission overall?
Yeah, so I didn't talk about mental health for a very long time. As you know, I'm more focused on sales when I was on LinkedIn. And it just, somebody pushed me to share my story. And after I did, I realized like how many people were inspired by me sharing my story and how many people I encouraged to share theirs. Like I've had conversations with other sales reps with the same diagnosis as me, bipolar, and they are uncomfortable sharing their diagnosis because they're worried about how they'll be judged by their coworkers and their manager. And I felt like that for a long time too. But then I stopped worrying about what other people were thinking and just shared what I'm comfortable with sharing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you feel has just been, do you think like the way, you know, sales organizations are set up right now that we can accommodate for that mental health? Or where do you see like, I guess, a big challenge in this mental health space as it pertains to maybe just like sales professionals?
It's a really great question, Mateo. So I feel like what I'm doing at BetterMynd could be just as helpful to sales teams, having some sort of outsourced counseling service where people are able to kind of vocalize how they're feeling and what they're going through. Because we both know being an SDR is not an easy job by any means. It's very mentally stressful. And I feel that the more people are able to open up about that and recognize that it isn't an easy job and we're not, like you said, robots, the easier it's going to become to have that conversation with your manager or the VP of sales or whoever it might be,
Mm-hmm.
coworkers.
Shoot, man. I mean, how did you like muster up the, you know, the confidence to share your story? I'd imagine that was like, you know, really, really scary for you to do. But now, like, I see you on LinkedIn, man, and again, I really want to think of you as like an ambassador for the mental health space, not only for like what you're doing at BetterMynd, but like for SDRs, for SaaS, for sales, and I really see that growing, man. Like, how did you sort of like push yourself to really just vocalize what you really feel at your core?
It took other people to push me to do it. It wasn't just like one day I was like, oh, I'm going to start speaking up about mental health. Somebody noticed that I had mental health advocate in my headline on LinkedIn, and I didn't really talk about it. And they asked me about it, and they said, "Oh, well, I would advocate for you. Like, I would support you." And that's where it kind of stemmed from. And then there was a lot of concern with the company I was at and what I was sharing. It got pretty personal for like a week. I shared my whole story, and I was just very concerned that, maybe they wouldn't think that it aligns with the values of the company, but that didn't happen. So that was good, but it was a little bit scary.
Dude, I really got to commend you for that, man. I mean, that takes a lot of guts. I really appreciate that, man. I guess like for anyone like out there listening to this podcast, whether like a sales professional or someone in marketing that perhaps may be struggling with some of the challenges that you have faced in the past, do you sort of have like just any sort of clarity or advice or tips that you have for them to just, feel more comfortable in their skin and, just get the help that they need?
I think it starts with not only vocalizing to your manager how you're feeling, but looking to your peers, because your peers are experiencing the same thing, and a lot of them probably struggle with the same struggles that you're struggling with. In addition to that, two things I remind myself every morning is I control my attitude and I control my actions or my output. So I have to make the conscious decision to not let the mood swings or whatever it may be stop me from getting done what needs to get done. But at the same time, I have to be cognizant of it and recognize when there is an issue.
Mm-hmm. Sales is like such an interesting career because we're like constantly dealing with people, especially with SDRs, right? We're constantly dealing with rejection. And I could imagine that sometimes that could take a toll on you. How do you feel like the field of sales has like changed your life or changed the way you really look at things compared to like the game of life?
I feel like I'm a much more understanding person. I'm able to really dive deep into the issues not only customers are facing, but my family, my friends, so on and so forth. And I'm able to vocalize those feelings that I have from that communication and be able to express that in not only a respectful way, but an effective way so people understand what I'm trying to say. Because a lot of people will hide, how they're truly feeling when they explain something to you. But I feel like I've become a lot more comfortable expressing my feelings through sales.
Dude, I think that it's awesome that because you were in this mental health awareness space before BetterMynd, and when you landed that role and I saw on LinkedIn that you got that job, I'm like, this guy is like the perfect guy for the job. Like, he's been doing this like before probably BetterMynd even existed, and now you're standing behind something that I feel like you see the value in and you really believe in. How has that sort of changed? Like, how do you feel more confident knowing that this is your niche, like you own this field and you're the most credible person to really educate on the importance of a SaaS-based mental health-based product?
Mateo, have you ever sold a product that you didn't believe in?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't, man. It's really hard. It's really freaking hard.
Really hard, yeah. It's super hard when you don't believe in the product, and that's just the opposite of how I feel with BetterMynd. Like I truly feel like I'm helping people, and not only am I helping people, but I'm passionate about it. Like I look forward each day to making however many cold calls. Like, it's not something that bugs me because I know I'm offering something that is truly of value to them.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on in your head as you're getting yourself to cold call? Are you imagining the potential students that could be, facing those challenges, and that's sort of what gets you going to make these connections out there for the people who need it?
It's not only the students, but it's the person making the decision. I really strive to understand what they're facing, and understanding that I'm like a complete interruption, just calling them out of the blue during probably one of the busier times of the school year. But most people listen. I don't get shut down a lot. I do get shut down as far as booking a meeting goes, but it feels like they're more open to have the conversation, really share what issues they're facing, as long as I take the time to truly listen and understand.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I guess, do you mind just unpacking further, like, how BetterMynd sort of helps improve mental health for you guys work with college students specifically, correct?
Yeah, so we work exclusively with colleges to provide students with online therapy. And the big thing is the diversity factor with the counselors. So we accommodate like gender, race, sexual orientation, religion, things like that. So it's for the amount a college would pay for, say, like a full counseling service from BetterMynd, it would cost just the same to get one counselor probably for the university. So it's a huge supplementary service that's truly helping the
Hmm.
schools.
Especially right now with COVID, man. I mean, limited physical contact, social distancing. I'm in ed tech as well, and like elementary schools are still going to be all remote or hybrid. So this is sort of like a perfect
Uncharted
solution, right?
territory, yeah. It's very different. I feel like it is the perfect solution, but the timing isn't always right, or they don't recognize that how bad they really need this, and
Yeah.
that's where I come in as a salesperson to convince them that it's worth at least having a conversation.
I guess for like any ed tech sales reps listening to this right now, whether that's universities, elementary schools, high schools, you name it, um, you know, any advice that you have for them, just as far as just the landscape. I mean, just really understanding where education is right now, and any like tips that you have, or just tools or tactics that been able to allow you to like empathize or understand the space a little bit more during this like weird time.
I think a big part of it is being patient. It's not like, especially for the sales cycle that I have, it's not like it's going to happen overnight. It's not transactional sale. It's about building a relationship, not only with the decision maker or the person handling the decision, it's building a relationship with the school in general.
Yeah, just because it's like B2G. It's not like a B2B sale. It's not a B2C sale. It's kind of a weird government
Niche, yeah.
sale, right? That's yeah. It's interesting because I'm reaching out to like elementary schools right now, and like you said, like they're like any software solution would be helpful, but it's just like how many other things are going on their plate right now as well, and how do we present ourselves to be the perfect solution for their needs at this given time. So that's kind of what I'm coming across lately. But yeah, man, I guess just in an overall sense, like, you know, where do you want to see mental health as far as just in America? Like in your ideal world, like what are you going to really strive and just create and really educate people on, or like in an ideal world, like what would you like to see in this space of mental health and well-being and acceptance and just love.
So there's an analogy that I read a lot where if someone breaks their leg, everybody signs the cast and it's kind of like they show support. But when somebody gets hospitalized or has to be put on medications or is just having mental health issues, people seem to shy away and they don't want to address it. And I would love to see people being more open. I know it's a private thing and some people don't feel comfortable, but being able to accept, like, celebrating them getting better, I guess.
And just being like a good friend whenever you can, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Who do you, I guess, do you tend to like lean on anyone in particular, for yourself personally, or just like who are the types of people that you really like to lean on?
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher his last name, but his name's Ari Baramapov.
Okay.
Um, he was so helpful throughout my job search, and he was like the only person that said you should be applying for account executive jobs versus SDR, and it worked out. He was just very supportive, not only for my mental health, but for my professional life.
We need a lot more people like that, man, just willing to help out each other along our journey.
Definitely, yeah. It's nice to know, like, LinkedIn's great because you can meet so many people all over the world and get support, but there's a lot of noise too. So you have to kind of block out a portion of that as well. It's not like everybody's going to be supportive. There's going to be people that have differing viewpoints, but as long as they're respectful, I'm okay with that.
100%. I'm happy, man. That's again, I couldn't see you at a better place to be doing what you're doing, man. So I'm super excited to see how your journey shapes. And it's really hard in ed tech right now, man, but there couldn't be a better person for that job than you, man. So I'm excited for you.
Yeah, thank you. Quick question for you, Mateo. What kind of success are you having in the ed tech space right now? Like, what are you doing to have success? I know I shared a little bit about what's been working for me, but what's been working for you?
Honestly, man, just getting a lot of rejection, as you might be as well. So really just trying to, like you said, build that relationship. But I think that's kind of very general. So just trying to find ways that like you can add value to the relationship, whether that's through like creating a piece of content for them, or, literally telling a teacher, an admin, like, hey, like I know this product may not be a good fit for you right now, but do any of your teachers need like a Zoom tutorial or a tutorial on how to use like Google Drive? So like really just understanding like what's going on in education. Like for us in tech, we know technology, like going remote isn't something that's like this drastic idea, but for like a school or university, like that's like a completely different workflow. And like some of these teachers aren't even really that strong with technology. So like I feel like our knowledge in technology is something that other people could see value in, especially if you are a technology company. And so any way that you could provide some like professional development, just like teaching someone how to use a basic Gmail is something that could be like really valuable to a teacher that knows like nothing about technology. So I would say like lean on our tech knowledge and acumen to like kind of bridge the digital divide with them, and show them that like, hey, we're willing to help you outside of just like taking a demo, and just like anything related to our product is sort of what I'm seeing. But yeah,
it's like being a resource,
just simply being a resource to them, in any way that it could be helpful for them, so that when timing is better, they'll be thinking of you. Because I feel like most sales reps are just calling, hey, do you want this product? No? Okay. Click. It's like, even if you get a no, like what can you make of that no, outside of just saying like, well, when can I follow up with you? Or just like, no worries, like any videos I can make for you, or like what would be helpful for your staff or professional development. And I think just by saying that alone might help you stand out just by asking, So that's what I'm seeing.
It's like when you get the receptionist, so many people just shut down and leave a message and then never call again.
Yeah.
But just have to keep trying to figure out when the best time is to call, or am I really calling the right person? Like there's so much more information you can get if you're just friendly and explain like the purpose that you're actually calling for.
100%. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about this, but like imagine doing like a mental health webinar for, professors or teachers, specifically in, higher education. Like I'm sure they might be experiencing some mental health challenges, having to shift their whole role. So like what's something that could be applicable to like what you guys do, but also like helping them at the same time,
Yeah, we're doing one in November. I'm pretty excited about.
Sick.
It's in the works. There's a really great professor, I believe from Stanford or Harvard, that's going to be joining us, and then some students. So
Sick.
should be really cool.
Dude, send me the invite to that. I'd love to attend.
Yeah, I will.
Sweet, man. Well, I guess before we wrap up here, anyone out here listening that was inspired by you just being so true to yourself, and trying to inspire and educate others, that may be interested in like just picking your brain about the SDR role, or picking your brain about BetterMynd, or just being more confident in their mental health and well-being, where can they find you?
LinkedIn. So it's Ryan and then Zadrazil, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with anyone.
Sweet. Ryan, really, really appreciate your time, man. Like I said, I love what you're doing, and I'm excited to see your journey, and hope we can continue to collaborate and help each other, man.
Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate you having me on this spooky morning.
Yeah. Everyone stay safe out there. Spread some love, spread some kindness, and connect with Ryan. You won't regret it. We'll catch y'all in the next one.